But the one country in Africa, the country that was never colonized and is the lead democracy on the continent, Ethiopia, is facing its biggest challenge yet with zero acknowledgement from these world leaders. Ethiopia is in the midst of a brutal civil war and now facing famine as a result. Joining us to discuss is Gebrekirstos Gebremeskel. He's owner of Tagat Media. Welcome back to the show. Gebrekirstos, what is the latest situation on the ground, particularly help us understand this threat of famine that is facing Ethiopia once again?
Thank you for having me. At the moment, Tigray is kind of, how do you describe it? It's a death field. People are falling like leaves because of starvation that has been implemented for almost a year now. So the first step was to destroy their crops, displace them ethnically, cleanse them, destroy their implements, agricultural implements, and now the final stage was a siege. And so the people now are dying. On average, about 700 people are dying every day today in every hamlet and village in Tigray. And that is because the Ethiopian government has blocked aid to the people. About 7,000 trucks should have, yeah.
I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you at all, but Gebrekirstos, why is the government refusing to allow humanitarian aid and food to be given to the people there in Tigray?
That is the genocide policy that they started this war with. So the first step was to ravage the region with war, destruction, and destruction of the livelihood of the people. And now the final stage is to let famine do the rest of the job. And so that goes with that policy. And this is very clear. The United States is already discussing about whether this is a genocide or not. But as far as the people of Tigray are concerned, this is a clear genocide. It is even publicly talked and spoken. So it's part of the genocide policy.
Famine as public policy. That's shocking. The United States has sent envoys to region, has put sanctions on some Ethiopian individuals, but we're not hearing Ethiopia talked about on this world stage at the UN General Assembly. What would you like to see the UN do on behalf of Ethiopia and the people of Tigray?
There's the very unfortunate thing. The United Nations Security Council has shown that it means nothing concerning the people of Tigray. And that is because there are other countries that have geopolitical interests like China and Russia. And the Ethiopian government is threatening, even the United States by saying that they will go to the east. And so really, the United Nations Security Council has been paralyzed by this geopolitical interest, and that's why it's not talked about at the United Nations Security Council. And the other reason is because there is a total communications blackout in Tigray. We don't see the images. People are dying, but we don't see the image. So the water is protected by this communications blackout, and this is imposed on purpose by the government to protect ugly images coming out to the water and shocking the water's consciousness. So it's a combination of these things.
Gebrekirstos, that is a nightmare situation for the people there who are being starved. Is there any private help that can get into that country, albeit facing a lot of peril, but can they get there to try to change what's happening on the ground?
That is without some serious punitive measures to let the Ethiopian government open a humanitarian corridor, that's not possible. As you might have seen it, the European Union has an airdrop to Tigray, but they had to stop in Addis for search, and they took about 70% of the aid and all medicines, no medicine to Tigray for 2 months now. and about 7,000 trucks were supposed to enter Tigray. Less than 500 in 2 months. Just think about that. So every day 100 trucks should go to Tigray, but there's nothing going to Tigray. So really, there's no fuel, there's no medicine, and there's nothing. And there is no way. I have my brother, for example, I just got a message that he is hungry, but I can't send him anything because everything is blockaded 360 degrees. So really a measure, a serious measure, a punitive measure by the United Nations Security Council would save the people, about 8 to 10 million people, because the surrounding people are also in the same situation. But that's not happening. So people are just dying in front of the world because there is no action. And that's how unfortunate this world is.
Gebrekirstos Gebremeskel, thank you for joining us this hour to talk about this. Please come back to update us, and we will continue to watch the developments as they unfold there, but also to see what the UN will or will not do about this dire situation there. Thank you for joining us.